What's up everyone, this is David Arroyo, and in this video we're going to be looking at my second entry for Inktober of 2019, so days 6 to 10. So as you can see, these are entry 6, 7, 8, and we also have 9 and 10, which I have recently finished. So let's start by looking at how 6, 7, and 8 were made. They were all made in Procreate, so all these Inktober entries are made in Procreate, and as usual, I just applied the same method as with the previous one. So for the previous video, you can just go on my YouTube channel, and it's basically just a previous video on the channel, so entries 1 to 5. And so as you can see, I was like playing around a little bit, playing a bit with like different type of poses, proportions. Then I wasn't really happy with that first pose, so then I tried something else, because I definitely wanted to do something with the bat. So these entries, they are from the Acid Skulls still. So entries 4 and 5 are also Acid Skulls, which you can see in the previous video. And these were two guys. Now here you have the girls, who are also members of the Acid Skulls. And what you can see is that I've basically decided to bring back that first pose, but I changed the position of the face. So instead of looking sideways, now it ended up looking frontways. And with that third pose right now, so the third girl that's being added, she also got some pose changes. As you can see, her face also changed direction. And yeah, you're noticing that I'm actually doing these like all at the same time. So see, my Inktober's, I'm not really doing them like one at a day. I'm kind of working on all three for the 3 days that are coming, for example. So it could also be like, for example, today I did the entire entries of 9 and 10 in one go in one day. So finished everything in one go. And for these ones, I think it took me like 2 days. It was spread out over 2 days, and maybe in total took me about 4 hours to finish these 3 girls, or a little bit under. And yeah, again, you can see shading is there, the basic amount of shading, with like some highlights here and there, and some different tones, and just the usual stuff, the stuff that you've come to see from the previous entries as well. And there are the numbers, and there you go, entries 6, 7, and 8. Moving on, we've got entries 9 and 10, a bit different, so I'll talk a little bit about these ones. So these are like traders that work in, like, they also live in the outlands, or they travel basically the entire time. They're like nomads, really, and they are constantly traveling between towns. And they go between, like, the independent settlements that you find across the outlands, and they also go to the fortified cities of the Union, and they get all kinds of goodies from there, like medicine, ammo, all kinds of stuff, food, supplies, anything. That's what these guys do, and they are basically also seen as an illegal faction by the Union. So they're also part of what the Union calls the Resistance, which is like a selection of groups that they have named the Resistance. It's basically people that resist the way of life of the Union. And as you've noticed, for those of you that have been following the previous video, the Union is kind of like a very big international organization that's kind of trying to, guide the the remainder of the planet into a certain direction. They're basically trying to bring things into order, because they believe that humanity can only be saved through order and structure, and it really needs very intense like supervision and rules and all that stuff. But people in the Outlands, they think very differently. Okay, they don't follow, or they don't like to follow the rules of the Union, and that's why, you know, they have they live away from the fortified cities, or they try to hack their way into fortified cities, you know, smuggling and all that type of stuff, which is something that these two characters here that you're seeing, they do that a lot. You know, they're from a faction that do a lot of smuggling, a lot of trading. That robot that you're seeing there, it's kind of like a robot that can carry a whole bunch of supplies, and it also has two miniguns mounted at the front, because again, the Outlands are extremely dangerous. It's constantly full of crime, full of people trying to rob you. You know, it's just a mess out there. So what you'll definitely see is that almost all characters that I design have weapons in their hands, because it's that kind of world. You know, you need protection, you need all kind of you know, safety measurements in order to survive. It's a very harsh world, especially in the Outlands. Very soon, in the upcoming entries, we'll look at some entries from the Union, but for now, these are it. So this 9 and 10. Here you can see a recap of what I've done so far. So in the previous video, you can see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. They were, I mean, the making of, you can see in the previous video. These ones you've just seen, 6, 7, and 8, and the last two numbers 9 and 10. There you go. So I'm off, everyone. I'm going to continue working on the following entries. I will see you guys in the next one.